West Ham United away. 3-0 win. Welcome to Nick's COYS Corner. Let's talk about it. So really good victory. First thing to look at is the lineups. I was quite surprised that Frank went for Tell up front, but actually thinking about it, I think it was really good management, particularly after obviously what happened with the Champions League registration and Tell missing out. It was really good man management, and Moani isn't really fit to start. Richarlison had obviously played for Brazil twice and travelled to Bolivia, for example, as well. So it made a lot of sense really for Tell to play, especially with Solanke out at the moment. I think really good rotation with Bentancur as well, because we're going to have so many games to play in the coming weeks that it made sense to rest one of the midfielders. Happy to see Bergvall playing, one of my favourite players, and I think he's an outstanding talent as he proved again in this match. And then obviously Xavi Simons making his debut. Not my favoured position for him from that left-hand side, but still excited to see him play. West Ham, I thought, started the better team. They started the better team. We struggled a bit in the kind of opening 15-20 minutes, I think, to get into the game. And we couldn't really find any rhythm, any flow, and West Ham were kind of on the front foot, it felt like. But then we kind of settled into the match. They didn't really generate that many chances, bar that one chance with Paqueta that he put just wide. They didn't really generate much. And then we started to really feel our way into the game. We looked extremely dangerous on set pieces, and I think real credit has to go to the coaching staff and to Frank for the work that they've done, because on set pieces we look really well organised, we look really efficient, and most importantly we look really dangerous attacking them and solid defending them. And West Ham couldn't cope with our set pieces. They really couldn't. It was cascade of set pieces against them, and they just looked terrified every time we got a corner or a free kick. I thought perfectly good goal ruled out as well. I was absolutely fuming that it was ruled out, the Romero header. When I looked back at it, I cannot believe they gave a foul against Van der Ven. I mean, to be quite honest with you, it's either a penalty for us or it's a goal, because Van der Ven was pushed clearly in the back by the goalkeeper and by Fernandes, not just one of them, both of them. So it's one or the other, and for them to actually rule that goal out was absolutely ridiculous when you consider some of the stuff that's been going on set pieces and some of the things that Arsenal, for example, have got away with, and yet that was deemed a foul by Van der Ven. It was quite incredible. And I have to say, I think the standard of officiating in this country is getting worse, in part thanks to VAR, because I think they're becoming... It just absolves them of responsibility, it feels like. Okay, you can go to VAR, and VAR can make the call. And that's what it feels like a lot of the time. And there's the inconsistency in the decisions across games from both the referee and VAR is just ridiculous. So anyway, enough about the VAR rants, because obviously I could go on all day about that. We struggled to create anything of note in open play, it felt like. We didn't really have much rhythm to our game. We were at our most dangerous when we had that kind of run of set pieces, and when they clear the ball, we'd keep the ball and we'd go back again. And that's when we felt really dangerous, kind of keeping on top of them with the set pieces, breaking up the play. So, not an amazing first half. We grew into it, as I said, and good to see the set pieces looking so dangerous. That was a real plus point. Second half, great start, real intensity. That kind of longer pass, cutting out the middle area of the pitch, which I'll talk about in the tactics board. That really caused them a problem early in the second half. Bergvall picked up the loose ball, obviously led to the corner that we scored from. And it was a really lovely delivery again, and really well worked again. And Sarr just kind of hanging at that far post. A really lovely set piece, lovely delivery from Xavi as well. And so that was a perfect start really to the second half. And then West Ham kind of collapsed. They obviously, Soucek got sent off quite quickly afterwards, and deservedly so as well. I don't think it was particularly malicious. I just think it's one of those where the ball kind of bounces up and it's there, and you kind of go in, and as you do it, you realise, oh, I'm in trouble here. And he had to go. There was no other option really. But obviously, once he went as well, we quickly scored that second goal, and really, them being down to 10 men was irrelevant for that goal. It was brilliantly worked. Romero's pass was fantastic, reminiscent of Toby pinging those kind of longer balls to Delhi back in the day. And what more can I say about Lucas Bergvall? That boy is one hell of a talent, and that header was fantastic. Sheringham-esque, for those that are old enough to remember. Fantastic the way he glanced it in and just cushioned the ball to kind of dip it over the goalkeeper. Fantastic header. And I have to say, he just gets better and better, Bergvall. He's a wonderful talent. I still don't think playing some advanced suits him best. I think still that kind of alongside a holding midfielder is his best position, where he can dictate the game, get on the ball more, and then use his energy to kind of drive forward from there. But he's such a good player to watch. His technique is quality. He's full of energy. He can drive with the ball. He can pick a pass. And I think he'll add goals to his game. I really do. I think he'll score long-range strikes. I think he'll get in the box like he did and get goals from that as well. He's just a wonderful, wonderful player, and I'm so excited that he plays for us. And I can't wait to see what he kind of turns into as well, because he's such a talent, as I said. I thought after that second goal, then we pushed really nicely. We kept on top of them. We worked the ball quite well, got more set pieces. They panicked every time we got a set piece. And then actually, we really worked the set pieces so well that we kind of boxed them in, with especially down to 10 men. And the third goal came off the back of a set piece and it came back out, and we worked it really nicely. I think it was Tell worked the ball into Polina. Really nice first time pass through to Bergvall. And obviously we got a little bit lucky, but it was good. We got the numbers in the box, and Van der Ven with a fantastic finish. And after that, really, game was done and dusted. And I was really impressed with how we conserved energy. I know, and listen, even I was, you want 4, you want 5, you want 6 goals if you can. But with the schedule we've got coming up, I was really impressed with our game management and the way we conserved energy. We just played the game out. West Ham were dead, and we kind of just nice slow tempo, kept the ball, and we were able to make several substitutions as well, which was really good. So that was really nice, and hopefully bodes well for the next game against Villarreal, and we can conserve energy. And I was really encouraged by the win. Another clean sheet, which can't be said enough how important it is to be able to keep clean sheets. Play well, play badly. If you can keep clean sheets, you'll pick up points. And if you do that, we'll be much higher up the table than we were last year, for sure. And so it's a really good foundation to have as a team to keep all these clean sheets, especially away from home. That's 2 clean sheets away from home, where Man City and obviously West Ham now. So just a quick one now to the tactics board, and I'll just show a couple of kind of examples of things I noticed from this game, and then I'll come back and we'll wrap up the video for today.
First thing to note is the way we pressed in this match. So it was slightly different to some of our other games so far. So we pressed in more of a 4-1-4-1 shape. So you can see here I've got the midfield kind of connected. You've got Xavi, Bergvall, Sarr and Kudus. You've got Polina sitting behind them. And then you've got Tell up front pressing. So it was interesting to see us change up the shape. I think one of the reasons we did that was to try and make it really compact in the middle here. And West Ham centre-backs neither are particularly creative. And what ended up happening is they go long quite a bit, and we would use the midfield to kind of drop off and then pick up loose balls. That was the first thing to make a note of. Second thing I wanted to talk about is the build-up shape we've got. And it's one of the things I think is causing me a bit of concern. And we'll talk about the Villarreal game as well once we've done that, see if anything changes. But I just wanted to kind of show you we're kind of generally going with this kind of 4-1 shape when we build up a lot of the time. Now, occasionally, as you'll see in another shot later, a second midfielder does drop in, but a lot of time it's very basic. It's like this, and both fullbacks are very wide, both centre-backs together here, and then you've got Palinia sitting. But I just wanted to make a note of how much space is either side of Palinia, and how little options we've got as we progress the ball. The team is very, for me, disconnected when we build up and when we attack. So I'll try and show you another shot here. And again, in this shot, you can see how much space there is. Now, Palinia has dropped in to this area here. And you can see now there's a massive gap between 5 of our players, and there isn't a single one of our attacking players in shot now. There's 5 players out of shot, and that's what a big space. Now, West Ham have obviously got 5 players in between. You've got Bowen just out of shot. It says 6 there with Bowen here, just in the bottom of the screen here. So a huge gap, which makes it very difficult to build up and play possession football, because kind of where are we going if Palinia gets the ball here? His only options are Van der Ven, Romero wide. There's no one in shot, so he's essentially got to go long. Now, one of the things we're trying to do is probably bait West Ham to come out to us so that we can go longer and direct into one of the forward players. And I'll show you an example in a minute of how it worked in the second half. The problem is a lot of the time, if a team doesn't commit and just stays in this kind of mid-block, we've got no way to kind of play possession football and build up through the thirds. So that's a huge gap there. Another example from the first half here is an example of what I'm talking about in terms of wanting to improve the way we build up. So you've got Van der Ven just out of shot here. You've got Romero, you've got Porro here, Palinia's here, and then Spence is slightly narrower here. And then, again, no one else in shot. Now, for me, Porro here should have that pass inside as an option. Palinia, make that little run, and then one of the midfielders, so Sarr, for example, should be dropping into this space here so that Palinia can bounce a pass straight into him, and we can then turn out, maybe play through to Kudus, or we could play across to maybe Xavi coming inside, or Bergvall, and we can then build up through the thirds and beyond 4 of West Ham's players. But instead, what will happen is Porro goes long into Tell, so completely cuts out all the kind of build up, and Tell loses out here. We lose possession, and West Ham end up picking the ball up easily. And we weren't in a position where we were under loads of pressure, where it was really difficult for us to keep the ball. We've just given the ball away because we had no real pattern of play and no ability to build up through the thirds. Now, on the flip side, this is where it does work. The second half, Van der Ven, early in the second half here, gets the ball off Vicario. And you can see West Ham have got 5 players here. And again, there's our kind of back. There's Spence, Van der Ven, Romero's just out of shot, and then you've got Porro. And this time, Sarr has dropped in with Palinia to help him. And Van der Ven goes long, and he cuts out those 5 West Ham players. And he goes long, and Tell this time is able to win that ball. And because he's able to win it, we end up in a very favourable position. We've got 4 players here, and you're going to see Spence run up and join. Now, I think I'm not sure if it's associated, falls over here as well, which means we end up in this position from that long ball. We now end up with 5 players attacking 4 of their defenders, really, a 5th member trying to get back and help. And this actually leads to the corner from which we score our opening goal. So it can work. It worked against Manchester City, for example. The first goal against City came from that long pass and cutting out the midfield. But I worry if that's the primary way we want to create, it's going to make us quite easy to read. And I think certain teams, Bournemouth did it. I think Arsenal would cause us major issues with the strength of Gabriel and Saliba in the air, for example. If the striker can't win that longer ball up to him, you've basically got no way of playing, no way of building up. So something to note, it's obviously early days, and we've obviously worked a lot on defensive organisation, but just some examples I wanted to show you there of things that we just need to keep an eye on and see how they evolve really over time. But that's a little area of concern for me. In an otherwise, a pretty good result for us and a 3-0 win.
So yeah, really encouraging. On to the next one now, Tuesday night, Villarreal at home. And we'll see you there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. please follow the channel if you can. Need as much support as possible in the early days. So yeah, if you could, that'd be great. And of course, come on you Spurs.